Good evening, and welcome to Conversations with Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Alethea Brown with Mahogany Productions, and I am joined with my co-host. We'll start with you tonight, Chanel.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I'm Chanel with Moonglade Travel.
And Jeff.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff White with Jeff White Fitness Solutions, and yes, we did LLC. Happy to be here with my two compadres.
You guys had a great weekend?
Yes. Yep. During this weather.
I know. Yeah, I thought it was spring, but summer seems to be wanting to come visit us, so we're going to roll with it. So before we get started tonight, I would like to acknowledge that this week, there are two things going on. So from the 18th to the 24th is National Volunteer Week. So we definitely would encourage you if your church or in your community, especially with all the vaccination rollouts that's going on. This is a good week to practice that volunteering. And also this is Administrative Professionals Week. So if you are back in the office, and even if you're not, you can virtually recognize administrators where you're working at will be a good idea. We always like to put those awareness out there. We think it just really helps these days. So tonight, let's discuss the importance of planting seeds for your entrepreneurial journey, right? And so there are so many different options, different industries, and how to make that side hustle your full-time business. So Chanel, I'm gonna start with you, and then Jeff will tie in as she goes through.
Perfect. Sounds good, Alicia. So when I think about planting seeds for your entrepreneurship journey, what comes to me, and we talked about this, what your passion is or what your skill set is. What are you already doing or already have in you that you can turn into a stream of revenue, that you can turn into a business, that you can turn into a profit? And a couple things that come to mind, and I think we have a whole list to share with everybody tonight, but what are you doing? Are you an artist? Are you already painting? Are you doing hair? Are you doing nails? Are you sewing and creating, apparel? What are those things that you're already doing? What is your skill set? Are you able to design websites? Are you able to, do pottery, whatever it is that you're already doing? Those are things or are avenues that you can use to start a business. Another thing that comes to mind that we've talked about is when you're already in business, think of creative ways, to create those additional streams of revenue. I think we talked about that last week. There are so many things that we're already doing that we can capitalize on or maximize within our business to help us continue to grow and to build that revenue, which is ultimately the goal in entrepreneurship, but how it really just ties back to your passion. It's not work, it's not a job if you're doing what you love. So tap into those skill sets and those things that you're already doing and doing well, and do them better and put a price tag on them. I mean, what you have is valuable. Your knowledge, your expertise, your time are all things that are valuable that you can, earn income and revenue on to start and grow your business. So we'll talk more about what those options look like, but those are some things that come to mind.
Thank you, Chanel. I agree. Jeff?
Yeah, I know you have a list of things that you like. Well, not what you like, but things that people could do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care what people do. And I say that because someone can be like, hey, Jeff, I got this great idea. And in the back of my mind, I'll be like, man, this idea sucks. I don't think it's going to work. However, I would never say that because I'm looking at it from my limited perspective. I don't know what you're capable of. I don't know what you can do. What if, for example, you know about the Wright brothers? They created the airplane. What if they came to their friends and said, hey, y'all, we're going to create an airplane? And their friends say, man, you crazy. You can't do that. And so that just shut them down right there. Or like FedEx. And I still can't comprehend how you can get a package overnight around the world someplace. I cannot comprehend how you can do that. So someone would have come to me and say, hey, Jeff, I'm going to create a company where I can deliver packages to someone overnight around on the other side of the world. I'd be like, man, you crazy. You can't do that. So when someone comes to me with an idea, I'm like, okay, I think you should go for it, because in my mind, I don't think it can work, but I would never tell you that. So my point is this: whatever your idea is, make sure you have a passion for it. Don't just be excited. Don't be excited, hey, I got this idea, I'm going to do it. You got to have a passion for it. And the reason I say that is because it can get really hard. It can get really tough. You may not see a reward for days, weeks, months, or even years in some instances. Like, it took 7 years for Amazon to be truly profitable. We talked about that last week. Not many people are going to stick with something for 7 years to see it come to fruition. So whatever you're doing, you got to have a passion for it. Personally, I have a passion for writing. There are times I'm up writing at 2 in the morning. Would I rather be asleep? Yes, but I have a passion for it. There have been times when I had my regular 9 to 5, I would come home and write when all my coworkers out of happy hour drinking Long Island's. Would I rather be out with them? Yes, but I had a passion for writing. When I wrote my books, did I get paid for them immediately? No, I didn't get paid. Sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 months later. But my passion is what kept me going. So whatever you decide to do, make sure you have a passion for it, because I can promise you, I guarantee you, it will not jump off immediately. So have a passion. Make sure you have a passion for it, where you can do it at 1 in the morning, whether you can do it if you don't think you're going to get paid for 6 months. So whatever that idea you have, make sure you have a passion to do it. And if you do, you'll get it done. And eventually it will start to pay off for you. So whatever that side hustle is, make sure you have a passion for it. Don't just do it because it's popular, because things get unpopular at any time. Don't just do it because you think it's going to make you money. And on the flip side, don't just discount it if everyone tells you can't be done. Because if you have a passion for it, you'll find ways that no one else can think of to make it work.
I agree with that, Jeff. It's like when you do that. We talked about this about a month or so ago, turning your passion into profits, right? And so those are usually the things. Those are it's those little things that you do that you think can't go anywhere. Is it like being a photographer, like Jeff said, being a writing? People are creative. Everybody's creative on different levels. So it's just the same thing with maybe you're just one of those administrative people, and you can do up some resumes, and you can help people with business plans and all these other different things because you have that level of creativity. Those two things that they're also considered as entrepreneurship. So you definitely have to have a certain passion for something. But we've said it several times on the show. Don't let people talk you out of it. That is always key, and we're going to remind you of this as often as we can. Just because they can't see themselves doing it, they will try to talk you out of it. Well, you're real good at this other stuff, but this is what I'd like, and just roll with it. Having that passion, turning your passion into profits. And when you're a creative person, just because you have several ideas doesn't mean you have to put all of them in the back burner. Get one of them up and running, and then maybe you can be a serial entrepreneur. And I think that's about the best way we want to put the word serial in front of our names is being a serial entrepreneur. So I definitely agree with you. And Chanel, you as well, like, again, we're going back into having that passion for different things and being creative with that process, but also just relying on your current skill set. Don't try to jump out of a box and you don't know what's out there. So having that passion, that desire to do something is really important. And we say try to surround yourselves with like-minded people, but not all the times that's an option. But again, online has resources. If you can't figure out how to get started, Google is the best university. I promise you, you won't go wrong with it. You definitely won't go wrong with it. Because when you were speaking of, can you think of maybe 3 different instances where someone can actually turn a particular passion into profits?
Chanel, you want to go or I'll go?
Oh, okay. one that comes from photography, like you were saying, you know, someone who just enjoys taking pictures, does it well. I mean, there are ample of opportunities that you could, you know, turn that into a profit. Once again, you could take, I'm good at taking pictures, but then my profit is, I don't know, children and weddings. So now you have a specialty. Now you have a niche. So now you don't have to just be a general photographer for all beings, because then that, don't even get me started down that rabbit hole on what that could turn into. But then now you're a specialist. So not only are you a photographer, you're a wedding photographer or a family photo photographer. That's one that comes to mind. An artist. And it's funny because, you know, we think of these things like, oh, if I could sing or if I could draw or if I could paint, I would be doing all of this. And many talented people don't even use their talents to their fullest potential as well. But that's another one, you know, being able to paint and draw. You see, I don't know if you guys been in like Noda recently, but, you know, the local artists that are painting the paintings on the side of the buildings, that's profitable, especially if you get contracts with some of the other local small businesses or some of the counties and communities. I mean, tons of opportunity. And those are little things that we're good at and we do every day anyway. Why not put a price tag on it and turn it into a profit? Those are just two that come to mind. I could obviously put in a shameless plug for the travel industry. That was, you know, a passion of mine. I love to travel. I love the experiences of travel. I was planning trips and creating itineraries for friends and family for years before I turned it into, you know, before I started my company. But those are just small things that we're already doing, we enjoy doing, and that we can maximize on.
Yeah. And you know, one thing I want to piggyback off of you too, when I was saying it, is even if you as a parent don't feel that you have something specific that you can start a business with, don't cast your children aside because they're very creative too. And Jeff, you can tell them about that because you have the entrepreneur workshops for children.
Yeah, and actually, I want to talk about how I really got started. My passion has just blossomed into all these different things. Because my first book, I wrote it like 6 years ago, and when I was writing a book, I didn't really tell people what I was doing. I just told them I was going to quit the financial services industry. And I heard after the fact that people were saying, oh, he's not going to make it. And they were placing bets if I was going to make it or not. That just made me madder. It made me want to just make it work even more. So I wrote my book. But what I realized after I wrote the book, it opened up many opportunities for me. It opened up the ghostwriting for me. I was getting paid to write for other people. It opened up the editing for me to edit other people's books and works. It opened up me writing blog posts for individuals. They paid me to do that. Then it opened up public speaking. It opened up public speaking where I would get paid to speak for other people, all from one book. One book blossomed all of that. So I'm like, oh, I'm on to something here. And then from there, it blossomed into the virtual learning center, you know, and then the camps. And now I've got the online courses. All of that started from one book. So the point is, you can have a passion for something, but stay open-minded and be fluid and be ready, because it could just take you into a whole nother direction. If you would have told me 5 years ago I have online courses and all these other things, I'd be like, okay, you tripping, you know. But that's how entrepreneurship works. And being a serial entrepreneur does have its benefits, because it can open up different asset classes and different revenue streams for you that you never knew existed. So like Chanel said, if you like, for example, if you like the photography, you can do different types of photography. You can do photography classes. You can sell, you know, photography, you know, products. It's so much you can do. You just have to stay open-minded. And Alita, you touched on something very important. You got to be careful who you listen to, because there will be people who tell you it can't be done. Now, remember, I just said a minute ago, I may think something won't work, but I will never, ever tell someone that they shouldn't do it, because I can't see it from their perspective. Who am I to tell someone what they can and can't do? I don't have that type of power. I'm not God. I don't have that to say what someone can and can't do. But what I will do is I will encourage you, and I will strongly suggest that you study, 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 learn everything you can, and remember that you only know a fraction of what's out there. You only know a fraction of all the information that's out there. So humble yourself and just remember, you are what I like to call a conscious incompetent. A conscious incompetent, which means you know that you don't know. There's a lot I don't know, and I understand that, and I am continually learning every single day. Like I send you guys little, messages in our little chat about something I learn about whatever, because I like to share it. You know, Knowledge is power. So just stay humble, stay focused, and continue to learn. And you never know what can, fall on your footstep, and take full advantage of it.
Agreed. Agreed.
Jeff, I want to piggyback on that. It's funny, when you said you wouldn't tell somebody not to do something. I think it's good for us as entrepreneurs, well, just in general, to have, I don't seek validation from anyone, specifically, but I call it my advisory council. And it's like the top 4 people who, are near and dear to me. And I may go and I may run an idea past them or a thought. And usually, me, I come up with bright ideas all the time. And not only they're going to be honest with me. They're going to be like, okay, Chanel, you tripping. That's not it. Or maybe think about this, or yeah, it is a great idea. And sometimes we need that, but we have to have our trusted circle to be able to go and bounce ideas off of, or I don't want to say get validation, but just have that level of support, that encouragement, especially during entrepreneurship when we're starting and growing businesses. That's important, but you have to select those people very, very carefully, because everybody's not in your circle. Everybody's not for you. Everybody's not your champion, but you know who those people are, who have your back, who want to see you succeed, but who also are going to be brutally honest with you. And give you some of the information or feedback that you may not want to hear, but need to hear. That I think is very critical. Another thing, Jeff, that you were talking about in entrepreneurship is being creative, being innovative. We always have to stay on top of our game. We may start off as one thing, but look at you, like you said, the passion, the root of it is writing. But how many things can you do as a writer? Like you said, you write content, you can ghostwrite content, you can edit content, you can write content and sell your content. I mean, there's so many things that you can do that stem or root from this one, passion seed, or from this one seed. Let's take it back to that. You grow this seed, you're nurturing this seed, and you have different branches and stems that come from it. It's kind of how it can boil down to when we're talking about entrepreneurship, and just really staying on your toes and being able to adapt. I mean, this last year alone showed us that we have to pivot, we have to adapt. So just kind of having that creative mindset for whatever it is that you start off with. There's so many opportunities for you to branch off for different avenues of
It would be interesting to see if there was any way to even just determine the level of people who have had to pivot over this past year because of the pandemic. Because we've had several people on the show that were impacted and they pivoted, and it's working, in their favor. They didn't talk themselves out of it. It's that leap of faith. They took that leap of faith and it's working out for them. So, and even without a pandemic, entrepreneurship is still that leap of faith. It's something in your mind and your heart you want to do. And you just don't know. Something that may seem so simple to someone else could just be something so much more for you and can help you grow in so many different ways. Just like what Jeff said with his book, all those different things spanned out just from, like you said, that one book. So don't get discouraged. Chanel, you pointed out people having the circle, people they can go to and kind of keep them straight. Don't be the amen corner for, yeah, girl, go on and do it. You don't need that. But if you are one of those people, some people isolate themselves and they stick to themselves and they may not know. Well, that's when you reach out to different types of groups to associate yourself with so that you can attend the different type of webinars and seminars and conferences so that you can meet those like-minded people. and then you can create that level of confidence and communications. And, if they're on that similar path, then these are different people you may over time be able to reach out and help you through your process. So there are all different types of ways that you can pursue your entrepreneurial dream. But again, you have to take yourself fully accountable for the decisions that you make. So there'll be good days, there'll be bad days, there's going to be some absolutely glorious days, but you have to roll with the punches regardless of how and even if you had 4 or 5 bad days in a row, that's no reason to just throw it all away. It's not all, roses and chocolate candies and, you have to roll with the punches. You want to be determined. There's ups and downs regardless. Even if you're in business for years, there's ups and downs. This pandemic year is prime example. A lot of brick and mortar companies perished. And it seems like, people starting businesses at home flourished because of the pandemic. So, but then there's also people at brick and mortar and then they're, excelling too. So, but you have to make that determination on your own. So we're just saying, if you have that dream, look forward to living it. I would encourage you to do that. Jeff?
It goes back to that passion. If you are truly doing something that you love and you believe in, even on those 5 rough days or during a year of a pandemic, even through it all, you still have that, internal motivation that's going to keep you going in some way, shape, or form. If you get back to the root of why you're doing what you're doing, I believe, if it really truly is your passion. One thing I wanted to throw out, Alethea, maybe it'll be good to do a poll with the audience to see what, entrepreneurs have pivoted, whether it's pandemic related or not, and what that has looked like for them. I'm just curious to hear.
I'll put that up there this week. I'll put it up this week, Craig. When you and Jeff send me some ideas of different questions, and we will have several different polls running on our Facebook as of tomorrow morning. So we will definitely follow up. We would like for you to interact with us so we know exactly what type of content we can provide you that assist you, on your journey. That's really what we started this podcast for, is just, conversations with entrepreneurs. These entrepreneurs are having conversations, and we're hoping that we're motivating and influencing others to go ahead and pursue their dreams. That's what we want to do every week. So to help you interact and reach out and ask us questions, we'll put the polls up this week, and we look forward to following up with you and telling people what our results have been on the next show. We will definitely share that with you. So, Jeff, any last words?
You gotta know how to pivot. You gotta know how to think fast on your feet too. Because I can honestly tell you, I didn't think about doing online classes before the pandemic, because I was doing the ghost writing and I was going to events, promoting my books. And, thanks to the pandemic, people were home. I'm like, okay, I could sit around and cry and hope for another event and wear my mask and pray and everything work out. But what can I do? And then I also looked at how businesses like the brick and mortar businesses, they all went under because they didn't know how to pivot. I'm like, what can I do? Oh, you know what I can do to keep making money, stay relevant, is I can create online courses. I can set up virtual camps. So if you're going to be home surfing on your phone, you can surf right on over to my page and bam, here I am. I got Cash App, PayPal. I take all that, Amazon ships all over the world. So you got to know how to pivot. That's number one. Number two, like I said, I don't tell people what they shouldn't do as far as, not going for their dreams, but I will tell them they have to really work very hard at it. And when I say, like Chanel said, watch your circle, because there are people who are in your circle who either don't want to see you succeed, just being honest, or they don't think your business can succeed because they just can't see it. They're used to having a paycheck every 2 weeks. So for you to say you're going to start a business and you ain't going to get paid for 4, 5, 6 months, they think you're crazy. So of course they're going to tell you no, it can't work because you can't pay your bills. So be very mindful of who you get your advice from. Preferably get advice from someone who's done something you've done, something very similar to it. That way they can understand and relate to when you're feeling stressed and you're feeling down. Because you don't want to approach someone who says, okay, well, it's not working, just give up. Just go back to a 9 to 5. No, you want to talk to someone who says, okay, this is what you need to do to get better, or this is what you need to do to overcome. So that's just my closing thought. Just, be mindful of who you talk to and study, and be prepared to change like that with your business.
Agreed. Chanel?
Several things come to mind, but I'll just close out with one. You not only just that advisory council that I was talking about, like you said, Jeff, your circle can look different. I mean, you can have several different avenues for your circle, but not always going to your circle as what can I get from everyone in my circle, but what can I give to everyone in my circle. And I just think about us. We're approaching our anniversary, and I have personally learned so much from each and every one of you, on business, professional, personal level, parenting, women, you name it. I can honestly say that I have elevated just from us all. I'm going to say connecting because, my connection with Deanna and Julie is new, but then reconnecting with you guys, so many years later. So to think about that, how that seed was planted back in 2012, 13,
Mm-hmm.
of how it was gonna pan out. But just be careful about that. Think about that. The people who you surround yourself with, not only what you can get from them, but what you can give to them, is one thing that I would leave everybody with today. One last thing. I know we're talking about planting seeds, but for me, the seed is there. The seed is in you. It's just how are you going to nurture it and take care of it, pull the weeds from it and watch it flourish. So think of that analogy when we're talking about entrepreneurship in your journey. It truly is a seed, and it truly takes a lot to grow and to nurture it. Is kind of the analogy that I wanted to leave you all with tonight.
That was a good one too, Chanel. I don't even know how to follow up on that. But I agree with you and Jeff. And, finding like-minded people is important. Like Chanel said, planting seeds, it's already planted. What's in your mind, what's in your spirit, that's the route that you should go. That's your passion, that's your desire. Maybe you hadn't thought about it since you was 20 or 30 or 40, or even 50. Age is not a limit. It's never too late. If a 90-year-old woman can graduate college, then you can start a business in your 50s and your 60s, So don't get discouraged. Everybody doesn't have to be Jeff Bezos when they start a business, so don't let that discourage you either. Yeah, Jeff, I agree. Fear of success and fear of failure are two. That's another thing too. People are scared to get out there as well, and jump out there because they don't want to fail. They don't want to be a disappointment to their family or friends or what have you, and that can be discouraging for people. So we would encourage you, follow your dreams. The seed is planted, and like I said, we will put the poll out there, get some more feedback from you guys. So great idea. I think we should do that every week now, Chanel, now that you said it. So we're definitely going to look forward to that. So that's going to be the last words tonight. And we thank you all for joining us, and we'll be back again next week.